Hi, myself Lay, and with my friends Amitpal and Nandhipan, we will discuss the environmental impact of using fossil fuel in three remote communities of Newfoundland and Labrador. So all these three locations are remotely located off the island, and this all three locations are relying on diesel fuel for energy generation most of the time. And the reason for choosing this province, Newfoundland, and these three locations are Newfoundland government is very encouraging sustainable energy within the province and supporting rural communities for shifting to clean energy with fundings and with great initiatives. So in 2014, Newfoundland and Labrador has emitted 10.6 megaton of carbon dioxide, which is 1.4% of total annual greenhouse gas emission of Canada. So still Newfoundland and Labrador has the fourth highest greenhouse gas emitter per capita. As Newfoundland and Labrador government is committed towards the clean energy and sustainable energy, they are promoting a lot of sustainable energy projects in remote communities. So in upcoming slide, we will discuss proposed or possibility of renewable energy generation at the remote communities. So I will be discussing Nain Labrador location, which is located in the northmost location of Labrador. This community has the population of 1,210 people. This remote community relies on diesel generation, and there are 4 DG site are operational. The annual energy demand for the community is 9,200 megawatt hour, and this community uh, rely on the fishery. So based on the data shared by Hydro on diesel fuel consumption by communities in Newfoundland and Labrador, Nain is the second most highest diesel consumption of Newfoundland and Labrador island. It consumes 16.1 of total fuel of diesel consumption consumed by all the communities. So if we discuss the energy scenario of Nain Labrador, this location cannot be supplied by the power grid of Maritime Link or the Hydro-Quebec Link because of high transmission cost, and there are a lot of hurdles to transmit power from these two power grids. So as there are 4 diesel genset operational at Nain location, one of the diesel genset is very old and having a lot of maintenance issues since last couple of years, and NL government is proposing to replace that with a new one, but due to the high cost of replacement, the decision is not made yet and it's on hold. So currently the diesel generator is supplying on the lower capacity, and as because it's violating the capacity criteria, there are always risk of power outage in the community. So there are a lot of news going on for the power outage in this community. So if you see the environmental impact of diesel generation at Nain location, of course, there are greenhouse gas emission from diesel generation and transportation. There are also risk of diesel spillage for during transportation of diesel through ship, or there are always chances of contamination of soil and groundwater when we store diesel at particular location. So delivering diesel to Canada's most remote population is difficult and has a negative impact on environment. So it's just because of the distance, and there are several cases also reported by the communities for illness while surrounding population following diesel contamination incident. So there are a lot of instances where diesel contamination occurs. One case in Manitoba in which remediation cost is close to 3.6 million. Across Canada, there are a lot of diesel powered microgrids, and there are always nameplate capacity of each diesel genset. So we cannot add additional load beyond this capacity. So it always opposes the development of community and investment in infrastructure, expansion of tourism, and all. So clean energy product that already proposed by government in February 21. There are proposed wind battery microgrid plan, which is 2.3 megawatt, which is closely located to 2 kilometers away from the town. As you can see in the picture, there are proposed wind farm. As Nan has very high source of wind energy and the average wind speed is 21 kilometer per hour. So with the proposed wind farm, there are possibility of pump hydro storage also with the Nan Labrador to support energy demand during non-windy days or when the renewable energy is not available. To increase the penetration level of wind energy to the grid, we can use pump hydro storage. It's the best solution for that. So if we can add the pump hydro storage at the selected location, which is elevated on 200 meter from the ground, so it can have act as a 1350 kilowatt hour battery, and which is equivalent to 500 lead acid battery, regular one, and it required 3,932 meters square of area to accommodate water. So apart from that, biogas heating also can be proposed for heating during harsh winter, and NRCan is also supporting sustainable energy programs to support renewable energy plans at remote communities. Also, Government of Canada is investing $300 million in clean energy project to support rural and remote communities. So hopefully, wind battery project got implemented in Nain, and Nain Labrador can shift to the better clean energy in future.
Welcome everyone. To my part, I will present the location Ramea. Ramea is a rural area situated at the southwest coast of Newfoundland. It has total population of 388 in and off-grid community. The total area of Ramea is 1.89 kilometers square. It has no road connectivity with mainland. The main mode of connectivity is interprovincial ferry. From the figure, it is found that the maximum number of companies are in other services, and the number is 5. 4 companies are working in agriculture sector, followed by 2 companies in retail and transportation sectors. From the above figure, it is confirmed that the daily peak load demand is used to happen from 11 a.m. to 14 p.m. The average daily load is 488.7 kilowatts. Initially, 3 diesel engines were used to meet the electricity demand of the community in 1990. In 2004, 6 wind turbines were installed and started electricity generation with diesel engines. Frontier Power Systems was the responsible company for installation and implementation of energy management system. After operation of both wind turbines and diesel engines for 6 years, it was found that there was a gap between the available electricity from the wind turbines and consumed electricity from the wind turbines. To solve this problem, new idea of energy storage system was developed. In 2008, hydrogen electrolyzer storage tank and hydrogen ice engine were installed to solve the energy storage problem. At that time, another 3 units of wind turbines with installation capacity of another 300 kilowatt were installed. This emission result of one 925 kilowatt diesel engine. The main component is NOx, NO2, other nitrogen oxides, nitrous acid, and nitric acid are also included in this group. The main health effects of NO2 are respiratory problems. In the atmosphere, NO2, other NOx, water, oxygen, and other chemical components form acid rain, which has adverse effect on ecosystem. Particulate matter, PM2.5, its diameter is 2.5 micrometer or less. It's harmful for our health because it can enter into our lungs. Carbon monoxide, if the CO level is increased significantly in outdoor air, people will be suffered from chest pain and heart diseases. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas and is responsible for the increment of global temperature. Monthly wind speed, the average wind speed of the existing wind turbine facilities is 7.04 meter per second. During the month of November, December, January, February, and March, the wind turbines used to face significantly less shutdown hours than the remaining months. Capacity factor for months of May, June, July, and August is lower compared to remaining months. During January and December, wind turbines at Ramea run at higher capacity factor, more than 50%. It is found that from March to September, solar radiation at Ramea is more than 40 kilowatt-hour per meter square per day. From May to September, wind turbines were run at lower capacity factor. During these months of the year, solar PV panels and wind turbines will be used as complementary energy source. During winter season, November to February, PV panels at Ramea site are unable to produce enough electricity. What is the current condition of Ramea plant? Hydrogen internal combustion engine is currently not functioning. Only wind turbines and diesel generators supply electricity to the grid. The capacity of diesel engine is oversized. Proposal for a new model. Electricity generated from the wind turbines and PV panels will be used to produce electricity from hydrogen engine. One diesel engine will supply 277.5 kilowatt. The remaining demand will be met by hydrogen generator. Proposed model will not face the issue of intermittent wind speed. Thank you all.
My name is Singh, and I will present before you my study on the environmental impacts of using fossil fuels in the Hopedale community, which is located in northern Labrador. It has a population of 596 people living in 208 dwellings, occupying a total land area of 2.18 square kilometers. If we talk about the energy scenario, fossil fuel, which is diesel, is the main energy source which is used to generate electricity and is also used for heating and for water heating purposes. There are 4 diesel generating sets which are operated by Newfoundland and Labrador Hydro, and it has an installed capacity of 2629 kilowatts. The annual energy generation is around 5.29 million units. The net peak demand is 1024 kilowatt, which is during the winter months, and the fuel source is transported by ship, so there is indirect emission also involved. The annual diesel consumption is 1485 kiloliters. Use of diesel generators, besides releasing CO2, will also release harmful gases like benzene, arsenic, and formaldehyde. These can cause respiratory diseases in the community. Oil spill is another danger. For example, 1 liter of oil spill of fuel can contaminate around 1 million liters of drinking water. So it can affect human health, and we know that Hopedale is a remote community which has very limited healthcare facilities. Hopedale is a community of indigenous people who are more dependent on the local environment and thus are more deeply affected by climate change. For example, warming can affect the sea ice safety, the stability of this frozen soil. It affects the transportation and hence affects the food supply chain to the community. So the environment in and around the local community is far more sensitive to environmental changes. So even a small emission or small disturbance in such an environment can affect the human as well as the flora and fauna significantly. If we talk about total emission from this community, then the total amount of fuel that is used here, diesel, is around 1485 kiloliters. So this results in an annual release of around 3983 tons of GHG emission, which include the other gases too. The main challenge here is that diesel is the least cost and the most reliable form of energy under the harsh climatic conditions in Hopedale, and which makes it very challenging for other energy sources like renewable energy sources to be implemented. The NL government's report, The Way Forward on Climate Change, identifies the challenges faced by people of remote communities due to climate change. The energy company Nalcor Energy Sustainability Report identifies that clean energy initiatives are to be taken on priority in these communities. The NL government is part of Northern Adaptation Strategy as well as the Northern Transportation Adaptive Initiative. And even people of Inuit communities, they have identified climate change alterations that they need to undertake in these remote communities. Smart Ice is an initiative for monitoring the ice condition in northern Labrador, and it is done by a team consisting of Inuit ice experts and geographers from Memorial University, from industry, as well as people from the government. Even the people of community are adopting methods like installation of gaving cages and fences and tree plantation to reduce the erosion of the clay banks, as you can see in the figure. At the community level, Nunak Siawat government has taken various initiatives. For example, the youth energy training initiatives for training around 10 beneficiaries for developing their skills in solar industry. There was a the trainer program for tradespeople interested in renewable energy and climate solutions. As you can see, there has been several initiatives taken in Hopedale for developing the renewable energy programs and for increasing the awareness of people about energy conservation. Talking about renewable energy potential, the community has a hydro potential of around 530 kilowatts, which can meet around 60% of the energy demand. There'll be high capital cost because hydro will involve civil cost also, so around $16.4 million, and the levelized unit energy cost will come around 33 cents per kilowatt hour. Talking about solar potential, which is limited because the average solar irradiation is around 400 watts per meter square. There has been an installation in the Nanuk Center of 24 kilowatt solar, as you can see in the figure. If we talk about wind potential in this community, 43% of the community's energy demand can be met with wind energy, which can result in saving of around 1,600 tons of CO2 emissions per year. As per one study by Hatch, if there were two proposals, either to install 1 unit of 900 kilowatts or 8 units of 100 kilowatts, and the second option was found to be more economical, requiring an investment of around $6.85 million, resulting in per unit cost of around 31 cents per kilowatt hour. Besides renewable initiatives, we can also reduce emissions from the existing diesel generator sets by using fuel switching, that is by adopting renewable diesel from natural fats and plant materials, as well as by adopting ultra-low sulfur diesels. Carbon pricing could also be one of the options. By earning the revenue, we can improve energy efficiency programs. The level of energy efficiency at homes currently in Hopedale is medium level, so there is a scope of improvement of improving the efficiency of appliances in the homes. Automated fuel feeding systems can be used, which can result in a reduction of diesel spillage and can also result in less wastage. Higher stacks could result in slight reduction in local emissions. So while presenting the conclusion and recommendations, our study identifies that diesel-dependent communities do contribute to GHG gas emissions. Besides CO2, various harmful gases are released, which affects the health of local community. And these local communities face far more hardship because of the limited medical facilities available. The environment in and around these communities is far more sensitive to environmental changes. So even a small change or small emission can disturb the local flora and fauna significantly. The warming affects the ice safety, the frozen soil stability, permafrost, and finally, melting of such ice covers can release more methane into the atmosphere. It affects the transportation and ferry services, and hence affects the food supply chain. Basically, it also affects the traditional and cultural activities and involvements of indigenous people of these communities. So we can say that it alters the relationship between the indigenous people and its surrounding. The NL government as well as Nunak Siawat government has taken various clean energy initiatives on priority. For example, wind and battery microgrid project is already approved by NL government to be planned in Nain. At consumer level, there have been various initiatives for improving the energy efficiency and for developing awareness about adopting clean energy methods like rooftop solar. Communities are also being prepared to make themselves more resilient towards the environmental challenges. Our study also proposed a model in Ramea, which indicates that if we combine wind turbines with PV panels, then we can generate hydrogen, which can be burned in a hydrogen engine, which will reduce the diesel consumption and hence GHG emissions in such communities. Also, such projects will stimulate the local economy and will also create more jobs besides lowering GHG emissions. These were some of the references that we used. Thank you for your time.